my sunburn got a sunburn. Have you ever been sunburned on top of a sunburn?
Mm-mm. So what happened?
I just kept getting burned.
Very badly burned. Interesting take on a shoe that a lot of people have shown disdain for over the last couple weeks is this Grinch shoe.
Yeah.
And somebody, I don't remember who it was, but Nice Kicks posted it and they shaved the shoe and I just like it a lot.
Yeah, Scott, what I was trying to say though.
Dazzle Me Cups.
This is what I think.
What did you just say?
Oh no, it was
Is that the
at
IG handle?
IDK. IDK.
Like the artist?
IDK.
Yeah, he's the one who trimmed up the.
Oh, that was him who did that?
Yeah.
Though, listen though, but I think it might have been like what was supposed to happen. Like she gave them to you for Christmas. You can wear them all along, like for Christmas, and then you're supposed to shave them into that, and then rock them for the rest of the year because it's kind of like a Grateful Dead.
Yeah, but then what happens next year? You can't bring them. It's not like they
No,
grow
it's a
back
one-time
out.
thing. It's a one-time thing.
Me personally, I don't think they're meant to be shaved.
No, they are. She said.
Yeah, it's
they are.
called overgrown.
Yeah,
That's
she
why
already
it's
said
called
it.
overgrown.
It's already like it's 100%. That's what it is.
Well, then I don't like that. Like, why? Like,
it's overgrown.
I just feel like they're meant to look like that. That's what the Grinch looks like. You
Yeah.
think he gets a haircut?
But that's the thing. It's
they're
not.
not-
It's not a
Grinch.
Grinch shoe. It just
It's
happens
overgrown.
to look like that.
Yeah.
It's an overgrown lawn.
Yeah, it's just overgrown. Has nothing to do with Grinch.
Has
I'm
nothing
gonna
to
tell
do
you
with
right now,
Grinch.
we, the sneaker community, are the ones that name the shoes and call them what they are, and that's what they run with
That
within the
is the
community.
Grinch.
And they're called the Grinch, and they're supposed to look like that in my eyes. And I don't think the Grinch has ever stepped foot in a barbershop. So,
No.
Why not? But
But
would you
I
cut
just,
yours? Are you cutting yours? I'm getting a pair.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
no,
I
I-
wouldn't. You're right, Scott. I wouldn't.
I need it shaved down.
Are you gonna
Are you
have
gonna-
Jo- are you
are
gonna
Maybe
John
I
do
need
it,
two
though?
pair.
Are you gonna have John do it?
No.
Hey, I need to get in touch.
If it needed like a fade, I would.
I
but
need
it-
Ian to get in touch with Manscaped's marketing team, and we can do a collab video
Yeah.
where we manscape these Grinches.
Bro, we're good at commercials. Any marketing team, put me in touch with, because after this Whatnot commercial we just did the other day, I feel like
It was definitely a success.
Okay. All I want to say is, I think I can make jingles for real. For
Yeah.
major corporations. Remember
Yeah.
my last Jaritos SB?
Yeah,
Look,
bro.
Scott, look, you just started moving right there.
You know who made jingles?
Who?
2.5 Men. What's his name?
His character name?
No, in real life,
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie
Yeah.
Sheen. He made
Ah.
jingles on 2.5 Men.
I have
that
a
was like
really-
his job.
I have a really
Uh.
good jingle thing. The guy that created Baby Back, I want my baby back,
Yeah.
baby back, went to my school. They, like, his
Pusha
kid did.
T's the one that did the McDonald's jingle.
Yeah.
I'm loving it, right?
Yeah.
Or ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it.
Bro, jingles. Like, I
Like,
want to.
can you imagine just Pusha T in the in the studio?
yeah.
With his headphones on.
Just
All right.
all right.
Run
Turn
that
the
run that
snare.
up. Yeah, run that beauty in.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Like, why didn't they do it in his voice too? Like, why can't we use his voice for it?
I don't know.
You know
It
how
would've
he's got that
sounded too
like,
rappy.
he's got that raspy style
Yeah.
type low pitched voice, almost like he's with his nose
But-
closed.
I want to get into jingles.
Let's do
I'm
it.
down.
I want to get into
There's nothing stopping us at this point,
I
guys.
mean,
We can
what
do
we-
whatever we want.
commercials and jingles.
You know what
were
we could
so
do?
good.
We could sign up for Cameo, and one of the things that we do for Cameo is jingles for your
Jingles
business.
for
Bro,
people.
I thought I was on. Bro, my girl was looking up on Cameo, and you can get what's the lead singer of Creed?
Yeah, it's, Lewis.
Stat? Is that
His
it?
name's Aaron Lewis.
No.
No,
Oh,
that's
Creed, that's
Stained.
Stained.
Creed.
I don't know the
Something
Creed guy's
Mitchell
name.
Stat? No, not Mitchell Stat.
Couldn't tell you, but
No.
what you can do
I'm
something for you?
picturing his face, but I just
Scott
can't.
Stapp?
Just Google it. I
Yeah.
don't know why we're over here.
Hey Siri, who's the lead singer of Creed? Scott Stapp.
Yeah, see, okay, he's on Cameo, and then I was like, I swear Michael signed us up for Cameo, and then I searched
Michael,
for us.
what
and
happened?
We're not on there.
No, they have to approve you.
That's dumb. I want to
And
be
they
on
haven't
Cameo.
approved us.
Wait. You have to be approved. I thought anybody can just
No,
sign
it's
up.
like you have to have like some sort of
A reason
redeeming
to,
quality.
yeah, a
Would
reason.
people want a video?
We
from
do.
you?
We have a blue check on YouTube
That's
because
the
people
thing.
watch
There's
us.
so many people on Cameo that just it's like
It makes no sense that
Who
we're
are
not
you?
on there.
there's like animals on Cameo. It's
Yeah.
like Randy the raccoon.
Or like,
Randy the raccoon.
or even like, oh, he's the director of this random show, and you're like, why would someone want you?
No idea. Speaking of Randy the raccoon,
Okay, all right, bro.
have you ever seen? So like, I think it was Critchy went to the island somewhere, and they make it look like the monkey's holding the phone and taking a selfie, and everyone stands behind them. You've never seen that? I think the phone's just on a tripod, and then the monkey will just stand like by the phone, and it looks like the monkey's taking the selfie, and then all y'all are behind
It's a
them.
real one?
Yeah, it's a real monkey. Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Is he on Cameo? Probably.
I don't know, maybe. Photoshop yourself in there.
Also, speaking of raccoons, look at this raccoon video.
I honestly think raccoons are cute.
They are.
When I lived in my townhome, we lived in the back where that water creek was.
They're out there.
And so it was a cat community. And so we would always have these little bowls outside to feed the cats. And so they would always come out. We had to put the food up at night. So, but if we forgot, my ring would go off and I look on my camera and there'd be like 7 of them just crawling around in my porch, eating the cat food and hanging out in the trees. They lived under the decks of my house.
So my girl's apartment,
They didn't fuck with us.
they
though.
literally have the worst raccoon issues. Because like it's one of those apartments where you like put your bags outside.
Right.
and they
Usually
come-
they infest the trash and
do.
stuff, but
They're
these guys
out of
never
control
they
out
never did
there.
that with us. They just did their own little thing under the deck, come out at night, go back in there in
Kept
the
it
day.
cool?
Yeah. it was
When I
cool.
lived in Santa Barbara when I was younger, that we had an albino raccoon. It was all white with bright red eyes.
what?
It was
That's a
look like a
thing?
demon
Nah,
raccoon.
I gotta look this up.
Yeah.
What's
Such
crazy
thing
is
as
I was
albino?
just watching that
I think there's an
like
albino everything.
there's a video right now that's going viral on the internet where this girl was trying to get into her house, like a little girl.
yeah,
And,
and the
attached
mom-
her. The mom came out and grabbed her and just like flung that hoe.
Yo, meet Miko, the albino raccoon.
Damn.
Yeah, it just has like red
I wonder if you
eyes
can
like a demon,
domesticate
bro.
that little thing.
Probably. He kind of looks like a possum.
How cool would that be to have a domesticated albino raccoon at
White
your house?
raccoon, bro.
Like whenever I was trying to figure out a new pet, I looked up Finnick foxes because I always wanted a fox. But we lived in the warehouse,
remember you
Larry,
said
and it was like the temperatures weren't right to have a fox. I wonder if I could go back and get one now. Put them in the crib,
Because the temperatures just weren't right for the raccoon.
bro. When you have like
Fox.
wild animals like that, they're. I mean, of course, they live out where the temperatures are crazy. But I think when you domesticate them, you have to. There's certain
They still
elements
need
that they
like
have to be in.
humidity and
Because
stuff.
they probably got so much fur they might overheat.
Yeah.
if you keep them
Something,
around
but at
regular
least if
temp.
they know that they can go somewhere and adapt to it.
Yeah.
But if they're in the house, it stays.
Well,
the
I
same.
think that's the thing. If they're used to, if it's a tropical animal that's used to living in, you know, the jungle somewhere where it's 90 degrees and humid every day, and you keep it 65 on your thermostat,
Yeah, he's not trying to hear that.
Messing up, it's gonna mess up the regulation.
He
What's
ain't built
weird-
For, he ain't built for that.
So what's weird is like I hate. I want to say I hate zoos. I don't like it when everybody gets animals and puts them in cages. But then there's like another way to look at it. It's like if this animal wasn't at the zoo, he could possibly be dead already because of the food chain. Is the way it works is like his life could be cut short.
You know what I don't
So
like?
it's like
about
it's like a
zoos?
love hate thing.
I don't like the kids that bang on the glass. I will fight any child that bangs on the glass.
Yeah, you don't do that.
I went to the
just-
zoo a couple weeks ago and I fed a giraffe.
Was there any glass
Right.
bangers in there?
I don't know.
Okay,
You didn't
okay.
see
I
no
don't
kids
think so.
banging on the gorilla cage?
You fed them with
Uh-uh.
like out of a cup.
I'll show you. I fed him a big ass piece of
Listen,
lettuce.
so I know you guys are from Austin, but up here, have you guys heard of Fossil Rim? It's basically a drive-through zoo
Okay,
where
so
all the animals come up and they come into your car.
yeah,
And they
and you
can,
feed
like,
them through
Oh
the window.
yeah, and they have like the llamas and camels be
All sorts
acting
of
wild,
stuff.
all crazy inside of
Yeah,
there.
I used to go there all the time. So much fun.
I did a one of those in Oklahoma. I think it's called like Arbuckle Wilderness or something like that.
That's
But
okay.
there's actually right up here in like Saxe or Wiley.
Yeah.
Susie and I stumbled upon one day, and it's just like tiger cages and
No,
stuff
if
like
you
that.
wanna go to-
it's like 15
If
minutes.
you want to go to a tight one, Fossil Rim is like the one to go to. It's big.
Fossil Rim.
Like you're like driving up like
it's like a real safari.
Yeah, like you're driving up through this whole fucking like little mountainous thing. There's moose.
I want to like
and
hug
giraffes.
tigers and lions. Like when I see
Yeah,
the real Tarzan guy, and he's just or like the Arabs over in Dubai, and the
Just got
tiger just
pet-
comes running. You're like holy shit! But then he just like
Yeah.
boom, and he falls on him, and he's
I've
like
had
rolling
some.
around with him.
I'm
I
just
wanna do
thinking of
that.
how many animal stories I have. This one time, I was at the Denton Golden Triangle Mall. It's like the deadest mall of all time, and it was like holiday times, and they had like rented out one of the stores and just put tiger cages in there. And
What?
Just all baby tigers, and you could just go there and pay like $20, and they would sit you inside the cage, and you just play with the baby.
You know who did that?
What
That was the Tiger King.
was it?
That was the Tiger King. That was his whole thing. That was the whole thing.
Yeah,
that was for sure Tiger King.
I did it.
Yeah.
I did it.
You paid him.
I've hated it. I hung out. It was tight. You gotta
That's
hang out with a
something
baby
I've always
tiger.
wanted to do, and I haven't. So why don't we make that? We should do an episode where we just go hang out with animals.
Yeah.
I love
up-
animals.
Let's go to
Hello.
Fossil Rim. I'll go.
Yeah, we have the guy. We have the real Tiger King guy.
Yeah, we do.
I will say
I
there's
didn't
only
even think
one
about
bad
that.
thing about Fossil Rim is if you go in a nice car.
Yeah.
This one time I was feeding I was in like I had an Altima way back then.
He has the Jeep for it.
No, dude, but listen,
fucking
I was in
people.
there and I was feeding this like moose or something, right? I'm feeding this moose and he's like trying to get his head in the
and
window.
and the antlers
so his antlers are
hitting,
just fucking
ramming
up
it.
the top of my car, bro. I just got scratches all over the top of my car. Then this moose just smacking his antlers around on the top of my car, dude. I'll never forget that.
That's a scary thought. It's like Mother Nature. Same with
Yeah.
animals. Is like, like earth, wind, fire. You have no control over it. Animals, you have no control over it. At any given moment, something could trigger that thing, and it could fire off
Stampede.
on you, and
You ever been to
you
stampede?
don't know what to do, and then you could be fearing for your life. But at the end of the day, one thing I hate is animal poachers. Like,
Oh yeah,
people that kill animals, I hate that shit.
I don't even like to
I mean,
hunt.
I'm down with. I'm from the country, so I understand the thought process behind
Talking about
hunting.
wild animals, not
You're talking about the people that go to Africa and like
sport,
shoot
not
it.
for, like, food.
Yes, that's
Food's
trash.
different.
But like real deal country people out here that like
If you're gonna
hunt
eat
and
it,
process
sure.
the deer,
That's
and
different.
then they're eating deer spaghetti for. I could really got friends like this. It's not even a joke. Like,
They're
it's so
eating deer
serious. They got
spaghetti.
deer spaghetti meat just on deck all year long. Like, and they really do that. So I'm down for it. I got a rifle. I'll go hunting too.
You like to shoot pigs?
I do hogs because I don't feel bad about them.
Y'all want
Because they're
a
nuisance.
story?
They're feral.
Y'all want a
Yes.
prison
And
story?
There's like a.
You want a
They're like
prison story?
overrunning.
Yeah, you got one.
Yeah, I got a prison story.
It has to do with hunting.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So when I lived out in Huntsville, I stayed in the Ferguson unit, and I was part of Tractor Squad. And so
Tractor squad.
Sounds like a
Michael's-
sounds like a superhero.
Michael's so happy right now because I'm about to tell a prison story or a story of me being bad. So I'm out there. I've been on Tractor Squad. I was on there for probably like 12 months, and the objective is there's probably about 8 of us. You wake up at like 3:30 in the morning. You guys load up. You hop on the back of Mr. McKinney's truck, and you just literally sit on the edges of it, and you drive out into the fields. There's about 5,000 acres, and all the vegetables that people eat in prison are produced from the prison. So it's free labor. So basically the guys that are locked up, they harvest and crop the food, pack it, ship it to all the prisons in Texas. There was boars and hogs that would get through the fences and eat everything.
Eat all your
Like there'd be
stuff.
times where I'm going through like cornfields with the tractor, fertilizing these big cornfields. And so, you got these 2 huge water tanks on each side of these tractors. And as you're driving, you're just knocking down all these, because, the corn's like 5 feet high.
Yeah.
So these big tanks are knocking these corn plants down as you're driving through them. And you just see these little hooves and hogs and boars just running. They're hiding inside these cornfields, just
Yeah.
eating everything, destroying it.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the guys, I never did this, but the guys would like chase them down and run them over and then grab the hog and throw it on top of the tractor and take it up to the sergeants. That was one way that they would kill them. That was like a little bit harder to do. But the way that we would do it is they taught us that hogs and boars were addicted to diesel. They loved the smell of diesel. I don't know the reason behind it. It was an addictive thing to the point where they would find out where the smell is and then just like rub their body like
On it?
all over this diesel.
They're getting high.
So
on
what
it,
we
probably.
did is we would get these like cow horse troughed trailers that you would put like feeder in. And so we'd pull these troughs in there, build this little heart-shaped steel fence around it. Then we'd take diesel and we would dip these like big towels all inside the diesel pumps that we used, and then take them and lay them in these troughs, lay them on top of the troughs, on the floor of the troughs. And then he'd be like, all right, we'll come back tomorrow morning. So McQueen would wake us all up. It's like 3 a.m. We'd roll out there. And I remember this one time, every now and then it'd be like a little bit, bro. This one time we went out there was literally like 30 or 40 of these wild boars and hogs. And these things, we pull up and you can hear them before you even get there. And I'm on the back of this truck flying down a dirt hill going like 60, 70 for holding on to dear life. And you could still, even with all that noise, you could hear these fucking boars and pigs. So we get there and they're just like, and they're just like, like there's these,
Trying to get out?
I vividly remember this little baby one. He's just like, He's just ramming his head into the fence trying to get out. And so he's like handing the guys shovels and he's making them just like whack the fucking animal on the head and knock them out. And so they knock all the boars out, and then we take these boars and these hogs and you got to like throw them in this trailer. I didn't do any of the knocking.
Yeah.
I was the one that had to like throw them into the trailer.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing these boars into this trailer on the back of the truck. And then now you got all these boars and hogs on this trailer. And you had to drive them up to like the sergeants or whatever. And then the sergeants would take what's called like the back strap. Apparently, like that's the best part is like the big back strap leg. The leg of it is where like the meat is. And so later on, these sergeants would take the meats and split it up amongst themselves, go home and chop them into like little beef nuggets, like little like
cubes.
Boar nuggets. Yeah, like little cubes, kind of like what we had at that
little,
barbecue spot
burn
yesterday.
ends.
Yeah, that was it called?
Burn ends.
Okay, and so then they would cook them or smoke them or whatever, and secretly bring back like a gallon bag of boar meat nuggets and toss them to us.
It was like jerky at that point?
Well, no, it was like little steak bites.
It was still like
little,
actual like
it was like
steak.
little steak bites. And they'd toss us this big bag. They'd bring them through the prison and toss them to us. And so what we used to do, like a lot of times when this was happening, is really, really cold. So we'd do our work and then go hang out in the welding shop. And a lot of times we would just like turn the welder machines on to create heat to keep us warm inside these metal sheds. And so anytime they'd come back with the boar meat, depending on who the sergeant was and if he was cool like that, we would hop on our tractors and we would drive around the entire plantation and get the ingredients. So like we go get the garlic, the cabbage, the broccoli, the carrots, like you name it. We harvested everything you could think of, even like watermelons and stuff. And we'd take all these things and we'd literally pull them right off the plant, fresh off out of the ground, and go back to these metal sheds and then wash everything off, chop it up. And we had this big steel bucket we made from scrap metal that we welded together, and we created like this big pot. And so we'd take this welder, turn it on, turn it upside down, and then place the pot on top of it. So this welder's just like, and this pot's just sitting there. We get water, put it in there, chop all the ingredients up, and then we'd we'd sneak in like all the ramen noodle seasoning packets that come with ramen noodles, like chicken and beef and all that stuff. Bring like millions of them and dump them all in there, chop all these veggies up, throw them in there, boil it, and cook all these vegetables fresh. Then at the end, you grab the beef nuggets, throw them in there, stir it up, and then we had Boar Hog beef stew from scratch.
Okay, that's crazy.
Like dead scratch.
And it was amazing.
And we'd sit there and it'd be like 30 degrees outside, and we'd just be nestled up in this fucking welding shack eating beef stew from the hogs and boars that we had killed the other day, and then the fucking veggies we had just literally pulled out of the ground. And we'd do that shit all the time. It was like one of the cool things the guys would do to get back, because they know that we had to do all the work, and it's not going to kill them to
bring you a little.
I mean,
nugget.
they probably could have got fired from doing that, but
Bring you a nugget.
they bring us these little beef nuggets. We used to have fresh boar stew.
You know what's crazy about those boars and like how they're like so many here, and it's like kind of like, you know, they just kill them because there's too many of them or whatever.
Right.
In Spain, it's a delicacy because what they do is they feed them on only acorns. So you have to take those. You have to take those same boars.
So it's like a Wagyu boar.
Yeah, you take
In a
these.
sense.
No, the ones over here are those same boars because the only
They
reason
brought them over.
They brought
Yeah.
them over when Christopher Columbus and all those guys came over here. They brought them over here, and they're not used to being here, and they turned into just a nuisance. Right?
Shout out to Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, he brought over the boars. But in Spain, bro, in Spain, they eat the acorns, and then if you ever seen where they just have that big leg on the thing, and they're like cutting just the thin. It's almost like just slices of ham, right? But bro, you know how much those legs go for? The expensive ones?
The back straps?
Yeah, back straps. You know how much they go for?
Probably a lot.
Bro, thousands of dollars for one leg. Multiple like $2,000-$3,000 for one leg.
Crazy.
Because they've only fed on acorns, and they're these same black pigs that run wild here.
I wonder if I
They
just
eat
only
conkers all day.
No, this is Spain, different place. This is Spain. They
I
eat
wonder what would
acorns.
happen if I just only ate acorns.
I don't know. Maybe you turn into a Wagyu you.
Speaking of like corn or like nuts or whatever,
Yeah.
that was another thing is on this plantation, and I got another story. So on this plantation, it was like a mini forest of these there are pecan trees, but they're like
Big.
stupid big pecan trees, and they're congregated like hundreds of them in this tiny little area on the plantation. And what they would make us do is seasonally, the pecans would need to be picked. And if anyone doesn't know, pecans go for a lot of money. Unshelled pecans go for even more money. So
Wait, really?
if you
Why?
you can sell them whole, like as a lump, just as they are. But if you break them down and sell just the pecan, you get way more value because it's so
it's so hard to
tedious
do
to
it.
sit
Yep.
there and just break everyone open. So what they would do is us, the people that were tractor squad, would go and we'd take these tractors, and when it was time to, like, I guess I don't know if it's even called harvesting, but when it's time to pick these pecans, there's no other way to get them off the tree. So we'd take these tractors and just
Drive them in.
we just hit this tree. So so on the tractor they had because you're hauling things and those things might be heavy. So the tractor, if it's not weighed correctly and you're hauling something, you hit the gas on this tractor, you can like pop wheelies and shit. So they have these like big ass heavy plates that go on the front of the tractors to weigh the nose down. And so those were like the steel plates that we would hit the trees with. So when they're like, Norris, it's time to go out there and get the pecans ready. So I'd get in this tractor. There's a certain one that I drove. It was a blue one. It was like the big boy. It had the double tanks on the side, these big old water tanks. That was like the one I used to like to drive. Yeah. We'd go out there and we'd just boom. And then you'd be in the car. It'd just be all over you, just like raining fucking pecans everywhere, just hitting the roof, hitting you. And so all of us would be out there hitting these pecans and getting the ground ready. And then they would bring the line out, and the line in prison is typically like whatever block that's segregated for the people who are like fucking up, and they have to move them to different blocks because they're getting in trouble. Those are the guys that get on the line. They're the ones that you see in the movies. They're doing the cadences with the hose, and they're actually hoeing or picking cotton or picking okra. Those are the guys that they would bring out, and basically they'd give you this big ass potato sack. Like I'm talking like
huge,
fucking
like burlap.
Like a 3-4 foot big ass bag, and your job was just to walk around and pick these pecans up. And then the sergeants would take these bags and go to like local places and sell them for thousands of dollars, bro.
They would keep the money themselves.
I don't know. I honestly don't know that part. They didn't tell me that. I'm assuming since everything is circulated within the walls of the prison. But yeah, like, bro, they were getting bank off these pecan bags. And so they would let us, fill up buckets. And we had this little homemade, we made a pecan cruncher. The ones where you put it in there and you like bring the thing down. So we made one. And so we'd have these buckets on site in the warehouse where on downtime we'd just be, feet up, radio on, just cracking these nuts and eating pecans or whatever. And these fools would make a killing. And speaking of the cotton and the okra, bro, when I first went to prison and I touched down at that Ferguson unit, before they delegate you a job there, you're on just like it's like a squad of people that haven't been assigned a job yet at that facility. So until you're assigned a job, you had to do all this grunt work. And bro, it was my first time out in a field. It was the first time to get like real discipline in prison. And they're like, all right, come on, man, everybody get in the truck. And I'm like asking these guys, I'm like, where are we going? They're like, we're going to go pick okra. And I'm like, okay, cool. They're like, no, it's not cool.
I was about to say, it hurts your fingers, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're like, it's horrible. I'm like, okay. They're like, you didn't bring your socks? And I'm like, no. Like, why do I need to bring my socks? They're like, oh, bro, you're about to be fucked. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, just wait. And so we get out. So we get out there, and I'm fresh, bro. Like, I'm new. I don't know what's going on. It's my first time anything. So I don't know anyone, so I'm scared because I don't know anybody. I'm not, I didn't click up when I was in there either. I rolled solo. And so I'm there, and they're just like, all right, everybody get in a line. Everyone, you got like 10 people in each row. They're called like rows because the crops are in rows. Then you just walk down, and you got this bag, and you pick okra. Bro, I don't know if you've ever seen okra before it's picked.
Pointy.
Bro, it's like touching a cactus.
Yeah.
You ever just picked up a cactus?
Yeah.
Bro, so I'm like,
you did it?
I had to. And so I'm looking around, and everyone's had snuck socks in. Yeah. So everyone's got 2 pairs of socks on. So everyone's quickly taking their shoes off and grabbing the double sock off, and they're putting the sock over their arms and creating like a little like Kermit the Frog, like sock puppet. Yeah. And that's what they're using to touch this okra. Golly. And here I am not knowing. And so not only that, but I'm very pale. And it's hot in Texas heat, especially East Texas, like 903 Huntsville, Texas heat. It's hot. So not only am I getting sunburned, and I don't have the socks to protect my arms. So I'm getting sunburn on my neck and my arms. And then I'm also getting completely stabbed like needles just all through my hands.
Were you bleeding at all?
I mean, no.
Or is it's
just
too
like
little
it's just
to
like
do
taking
that?
your hand and the after effect of just like taking your hand and just like scraping it on a brick wall for a while.
Yeah.
And then your hands just kind of like peely
Raw.
and just raw.
Yeah.
And so the next day I wake up and I have sunburned everywhere. Really bad. Like really bad. And I do the sock thing and I get out there and it was fine. It was cool. And I wake up the next day, my sunburn got a sunburn. Have you ever been sunburned on top of a sunburn? It creates like these big blister bubbles. So all my neck and my face and like where the sock stopped and my shirt started because that little gap because the sock covered the first burn is now just all white loose skin with like pus underneath it. So I'm just burned on top of burns.
If someone could just come down here, please.
Bro, I go to the infirmary and they don't have anything for you. They're like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
Take an Advil
you
or
had to deal with
something.
it?
guess what I had to do the next day?
Same thing.
Go back out
Same
to
thing.
So what happened?
I just kept getting burned
very badly burned.
until I finally got assigned a job, and that job was tractor squad, but it allowed me to be underneath a tractor with a radio, with the radio playing all day.
So what
doing
was
my
the
thing.
time frame like of like before you got a job?
It was like 2 weeks.
2
How-
weeks.
so you were
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks in sunburn hell.
Dog, it was bad. It was,
I believe it.
It
That
was
had to be
horrible. I
horrible.
fucking hated it, and I feel the pain for anyone. And you know, I see people post about like how people are treated in prison, and like I had made a comment one time like, you should have seen what it was like whenever. And then people are like, why are you acting like that if you've been there? And I'm like, because there's nothing you can do about it. Like nothing's
Nothing
gonna
will change
change
it.
it. They're
Yeah.
not gonna change it, bro. It's horrible. I don't wish it upon anybody. Like,
Yeah.
but it also taught me
But yeah,
to who I am
makes
today.
you not
and
want to
al-
go back.
and allowed me to like get out and really be like, yo, like that life wasn't for me. I
That's
really
not
need
it.
to make something of myself. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different stories when it comes to being out there on the fields and stuff like that. I mean, it's definitely an experience.
Bro, I just it's like depressing, but I'm intrigued at the same time. But it's just like, golly,
yeah, it's the worst.
I don't want that life.
People are
No,
like, I had no idea. Like, did you even know okra was prickly like that?
I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I
was
love
just,
okra,
me too. I like fried okra. I
Yeah,
don't really
yeah.
just eat. I don't think I just eat the regular
like pickled okra,
or anything like that. I know Bucky's got some good pickle okra.
I've had that one before.
Yeah, I
actually.
know people that get that stuff.
They have dried okra too.
Yeah,
It's
I've
kinda
had
like-
the dried okra
it's
ones.
kinda like a chip,
they do
right?
It is.
right, but they do like different flavors. I had some
Yeah.
spicy ones
I
from
did,
Bucky's.
yeah.
They're actually
I feel
really
like
good.
I had them with you one
Yeah,
time.
I think I got them. When,
I think
Yeah,
it's when we
remember-
went
and
on
you
the
got
trip.
those nasty peanut butter things, or was it you that got them?
It was probably me.
You remember the peanut butter little candies?
What?
They're like an old lady candy, and I was making fun of whoever.
The
One
little
twenty y'all
zebra
got it.
ones?
Yes,
Yeah, those are great.
that's you. I
Don't
know
talk
it
about
was you.
Don't talk about zebra candy. Bro.
What is it
Yeah, I
called?
don't-
What's the real name for that thing?
that, yeah, it's like the black and white.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
with the stripes on it.
Literally, I
Yeah.
feel like only grandmas eat it.
Yeah, it's like
Except for
it's
Scott.
old school. It's old school, like a Chico stick.
Yeah.
Even those are better.
That's not pulling.
It's like the Chico stick is like the inside of a Butterfinger.
Yeah, the Chico stick is like for like the kids, and the zebra ones that Scott eats.
Yo,
are
these are
grandma's.
hard. Hold on, I'm about to show you. I got them right here.
This is the most grandma candy of all time.
Yo, chill, bro.
He's like, just try it, bro.
It's actually you buy these peanut butter candies on old time candy.
Okay, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
They're called Atkinson's peanut butter bars.
Look at that thing,
Wow.
bro. Scott be swearing by these things. Little peanut butter
It
bars.
used to cost you a penny in 1938.
And they just kind of like crush in your mouth, bro.
It's
They're
kind
real
of like peanut.
sensitive.
It's kind of like a peanut butter thing. Yeah.
You know, they
Yeah.
had to cut production on those things like Nike and Adidas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's a
What
good
are-
one to jump into.
I think
What are people gonna do?
I think it's good for resellers.
But see that they're not doing that for resellers
They're not.
though.
They're doing it because of what's going on in China right now.
Yeah, it has everything to do with production, and then obviously demand
So go-
ramped up.
Go into detail about do y'all have any actual information as to why this is happening overseas? I don't know enough, so I don't want to speak on it.
Oh,
but do
it's
y'all-
just the people revolting against
Communism.
Communism,
Right.
really.
But
So-
were they trying to like lock it back down and everyone was just like, no, fuck
no,
that? Or-
here's what's
like a mix of
yes,
two
it's a
things,
mix of that,
too.
but what's also happening is the usage of VPNs in China are allowing people to simply learn more about freedom in other countries and how repressed they have been. And so they're calling for more freedom. So that's kind of the same. Like in China, the internet is regulated. Like in America, you can just
Like
go
TikTok
to whatever.
is too.
Yeah.
You can't just go to
You
whatever
can't just
want
go
on
to
there.
whatever website. You can't just search whatever you want on YouTube. You can't just
A lot of propaganda
You know,
is
like
pumped
the
into
type
them.
of stuff that like Kyrie just got in trouble for posting that documentary in Amazon.
Which they said they're not taking down because he
course
says
not.
that.
There's too many people out there with different flavors and
Well,
thoughts. and
no, what
feelings.
what it is he's not trying to be like Twitter where you silence certain things of speech. He's like, if there are people that
Yeah.
enjoy that, it'd be wrong to take away from what someone else's interests are. So it's allowed to be for everybody.
But stuff like that, we have those freedoms in America to even be able to watch that kind of stuff. In places like China, North Korea,
all
especially
censored.
North Korea, they have access to nothing, you know, and when it comes to anything outside of North Korean media, whatever they want you to know and hear is all you're ever going to know and hear. So anyways, it kind of stemmed from that, the people becoming
The
more
iPhone
aware.
factory is what I saw.
That was
like the first
start.
big,
yeah,
like,
that was a big part of where
thing
it
that
started, and then it continued to the revolts have continued from there,
spread from there.
and it's been one of those things where it's not getting a lot of media coverage because we have this weird relationship with China as a country where it's like we kind of work with each other, but we also our relationship is very weird at the same time, but because we know we need each other.
It's like you fuck with each other because you need each other, but you don't really.
Yeah,
fuck with,
so
that's
we're
what
not
like,
really
keep your
over
enemies
here
close
talking
and
about
stuff.
it.
That's what they're
but
doing.
Yeah, and
what
so,
they're
but it is interesting to see the way. So you had production ramp up after COVID.
right.
Everybody had more money. Production was going through the roof because consumer demand was very, very high. Then you had the sanctions and things like that take place in China. It slowed down production. It slowed down a lot of deliveries. Remember when we were in California and all the ships were backed up.
at the port.
So then now, so they're talking about like even this Black Friday, this Christmas, we've seen some of the biggest discounts on consumer goods and other things.
Yeah, they said Adidas looked like a Nordstrom
An outlet
rack.
store, yeah, because everybody was piled up with product when all of this stuff, when the ports finally got, you know,
Caught
not
back
as
up.
backed up. Yeah. And so now everybody has this overflow of stock and product that they were hoping to get rid of for Black Friday in this holiday season. And then now people are expecting to cut production because obviously it's looking very recessionary.
They were also saying, like, I was having a conversation with someone about it, and they were saying that it also might be like, yes, that's why. It's because Nike's having those issues.
But it's also great timing.
But it's good timing because there's so much stuff that's like it's going to like Nike knows that there's stuff sitting. Nike knows Jordan
Right.
1s are selling for retail, so they're like, okay, we'll kill two birds with one stone, and this is gonna build hype back up into the sneaker game.
Do you think it will?
Yes, of course it will, bro. If stuff
Do you
is
think it will
limited
build
again,
hype up, or do you think it will just build the resale value up? There's a
It's
difference.
both.
It depends on the
both.
release, but at the end of the day, simple supply and demand. And if there's less supply,
Right.
and the people are the people who want sneakers today are still going to be the same people who want sneakers 6 months from now. If not, more and more sneakerheads are being built
Yeah,
and
there's
born
a
every
sneakerhead
day.
born every second.
So at the end of the day, the demand isn't going anywhere, but the production is. And so if it's already, even with these high production numbers, Cherry 11s and all of these high, and
the
it's
Lost and
still
Founds.
hard to get a pair. So what
Yeah.
happens when they're talking about cutting 30%?
bro, resale price
30%
goes
a lot.
resale price goes up, bro.
Absolutely.
Resellers-
Supply and demand.
If you resellers out there can get through this down period and get to the other side, I think it's going to be very nice 2023.
What are some ways that people can get to the other side? What are ways? I mean, obviously building Well, okay, so look, I'm getting ready to say like build relationships with your local sneaker stores, but it's like they're about to have production cut, so they're not
Everybody's
even about to have allocation.
scarcities.
It's just it's gonna be blood in the streets.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
And speaking of blood in the streets, that's a Warren Buffett says buy when there's blood in the streets, and it kind of makes me think of how we've talked about botting And it's kind of the same thing as stock trading, right? So any of us can trade stocks, but the guy that's sitting there and studying the charts for hours a day is obviously going to have a better opportunity when it comes to having a return on your investment. And I guess the same kind of goes into botting, right? So you think if production is going lower, there might be more botters and people who are being born into this, but having a bot doesn't mean that you just get shoes.
No.
There's still a whole learning curve.
Do you think that the scarcity of quantities will make the love for sneakers go back up a little bit?
I think
like,
so.
do you think it's came down a little bit because you can just
Yeah.
like get it and it's sitting on the shelves and
Yes.
everyone's just like, oh, it's not even cool anymore.
That was the whole conversation.
Everyone
I
was
had.
mad because they couldn't get it,
Yes.
and then now it's not cool if it's still sitting on the
That
shelf.
was the whole conversation
you
we
can't,
had.
You
Scott.
can't win
That
at all.
That was it though. That was the conversation. Is like, it makes it not fun.
Yeah.
Like as much as you hate it, as much as you hate that you can't get a pair of shoes, you all y'all out there know that you want to put a pair of shoes on that someone else can't have.
Yeah.
Duh, look what I'm wearing.
That's the point. Like that's okay. I don't want to say it's the point because it's not the point, but it's a fun. It's a fun.
It's a big
part.
aspect
It's
of
a
it.
fun part of collecting.
It just reminds me of when we ran into Whitner from Social Status, our mom and year owner, James. He said that he flies around to the exhibits and waits in line to get the drops because of the adrenaline and the self-gratification he gets after he wins and gets it. It's like he's patting himself on the back, like it's the thrill
Yeah.
of hopping on the plane or waiting out. Well, we don't wait outside of stores anymore, but back in the day, it was waiting in line outside the store, and then you get the shoe, and you're like, "Fuck yeah, I got this shoe! Like I did it!" And it's just like a joyous thing afterwards. And it's just
The
like
thrill of the hunt,
Yeah.
the pursuit is part
and
of
I
it.
think that's gonna come back.
You think they will after the production
Yeah.
cost gets dropped
I
down?
think that's gonna come back.
I mean, if these stores don't backdoor,
but they're always gonna backdoor. But
But you're 30% less.
But
It's
it-
still
That's what I'm
supply and
saying.
demand.
It's
There's
still
still
supply and
way
demand.
less supply.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
30% is a lot. That's a big cut.
because it's not about the. It's not about the.
I bet
it's
you
not
they don't
about
cut-
the- go
I
ahead.
bet you they don't cut SB's production down though, because it's already. If they were to
Yes.
cut SB's production down
It's already
30%,
nothing.
they'd be it's already they already don't get made a
Yeah,
lot.
I would
That would be
assume
horrible.
I would assume it's
GR
got to
releases.
it's got to be more of
It
the
is.
GR allocation.
Maybe they'll or maybe they're just not gonna drop as many.
It's the stuff where they were producing 1 million. They're now
You
going to
might be
produce
right though.
700,000.
They might keep the same production costs or quantities, but not as many
Because
colorways coming
If
out.
you
get
think
what I'm
about it
saying?
right now, like bro, there's a release every other weekend or every week. There's always a release.
For instance,
coming.
like let's just say 25 AJ1 silhouettes drop this year. Maybe they're only going to drop 13, but keep the quantities. We don't know. We don't know if it's going to be the same amount of shoes being released, just not as many being made, or same production numbers, just not as many colorways
you
being
know
made.
Taxi 12s dropped today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What did you
Black
guys,
Taxi.
Have you heard anything about it?
No.
Like there's no demand right now.
Which
It's
sucks.
like not
'cause
even
that's
a
a great
thing. Like,
shoe.
Yeah, no
like
one
a
cares.
year ago, that shoe I've been like, all right, I need 2 of every single size, get everything, load up the store. People are walking in asking for them. I was like, no, now
probably
you
like
just,
2 years ago, but
or 2 years, whatever it is. Like now you, no one
for sure.
cares.
But at the end of the day,
you know why? Because kind of like Jordan 4, right?
Yeah.
it just recycles.
kids,
There's an era and
yeah.
a time. It'll go
that,
away,
that
come
Jordan
back.
12 era is not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The people who wanted that Jordan 12 got it, but the kids today are not excited
Yeah,
about
they
a
did.
Jordan 12.
Like, it's
There's
just
no
like-
hype.
That's
it's
yeah,
just-
exactly. It means nothing to
It's
them.
just like the
is it
dunks,
production?
too, you
Is
know?
it production numbers though? Because if that was a limited 12, kids might want it.
I don't know. The Amam and Yer is a limited
Yeah,
12,
I
and I
don't-
don't want that.
Nah, kids will get that.
Maybe.
Kids are freaking out about almonds.
Just not a fan of the burgundy.
People love it.
Burgundy?
I don't like it either. And I was like, all the kids right now want the Jordan 4s, the Alma 4s.
I love
like-
that shoe now. Took me
It's
a minute.
burgundy.
It took me a minute though. It's
But
like a muted,
what do you mean?
muted
Okay, you
burgundy.
still
It's
like
different.
it.
It's not very enriched.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's one of those things where they haven't gone into detail of how it's going to work, how it's going to play out. For all we know, the things overseas could change back, and then that they could take away what they said. I don't want that to happen.
I think next year is going to be ugly for a lot of sectors of business.
When I say I don't want that to happen, I don't want the shoes to be exclusive. I'm saying that whatever they're doing overseas, I want them to keep doing that shit. They deserve to have the freedom of everything that they
Yeah.
do over there.
Yeah. Lastly, I want to let you guys know we have a ton of new merch available
actually wearing
at
the crew neck.
I am too. I'm wearing the
PRVT.
tee.
Yeah, new merch all on.
Larry's also wearing the hat.
This is called the cease and desist capsule.
an
'cause
entire cease and desist capsule, along with a few other hidden treasures
early
on
bird
the
crew
site.
neck.
Yeah,
Super cool. We did it the back hit on the front this time.
Oh, and the shop tee too. Shop tee.
Yeah, the shop
tee
tee is
tight.
very cool, which I saw a lot of people got those. It's doing very well.
Just so you guys know, that shop tee around the store, there's like plushies and like different things that we've decorated with, and it's all in.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
using those
it's all in
decorations
the-
from the store
From the
into
interior
tee.
design.
He integrated it
So
all.
y'all go check out the website. Been a pleasure hanging with y'all this week. We'll see y'all next week. Go hit the website, prvtselection.com. Thank you guys.
Thanks,
We'll see y'all
guys.
next
Love
week.
y'all.
Bye, y'all.